Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a circle the size of a orange again, all right? And we're going to draw a good shape for the top eyelid as it moves to the tear gland. And then we curve it around, draw the bottom eyelid is not as curved, but it is curved though, but not as curved as the top. And once again, this is a female's eye, okay? And I'm working this time with a piece of graphite. Before I worked with a piece of vine charcoal, but this is so that you can see clearly. I want you to work with your pencil, all right? Let's put in that iris. Okay, let's put the iris in. And this time, I want you to draw a real faint light line for that lip edge. And it tapers to the tear gland. So when it tapers, that means it starts to pinch. So it starts off thick here, and it's a light line, and then it tapers. So that's that lip edge that we were talking about, all right? And then let's draw the top eyelid. It's more higher in the middle, and then it tapers to the tear gland, all right? And then let's draw our line for our eyebrow, which curves around, it arches, and curves around into the bridge of the nose. Then let's put in our our pupil right here at the top, and let's put in a highlight. So I know I broke that down really, really quick because I'm flying today. Okay, I'm gonna let you catch up. So what did I do? Circle, okay, opening of the eyelid, top eyelid, bottom eyelid, not as curved, added the iris, added this lip edge, all right, added the top of the fold of the eyelid, added the pupil and the highlight, and of course I added the eyebrow, which extends itself beyond the eye. Okay, now we're ready to get into some other tools here real quick, because I said I was moving kind of fast here. We're going to work with our 4B pencil, and we're going to put in our accents. So we're going to put the accented thick and thin line right at the top of the eyelid. So it goes from thick, so I double up the weight to thin and move that towards the tear gland, just like that. So it goes from thick, double thick, thicken it up. So you add more than one line, and then you taper that. The 4B pencil is the orange 4B pencil. You have two pencils. All right, you got the 4B, and then you have the black 6B. I need you to pay attention now, okay, guys? I'm not going to slow down here. I got to keep it moving. You should know these basic techniques already. All right, now I need to take this same pencil, and we're going to add a little bit of thickness to the edge here, not as thick. And we're going to start at the bottom of the eyelid and bring that around. Now, I started it a little bit here, and that was okay, but actually it starts here at the bottom. And it comes around. It's not as curved. It's very thin now, and it comes to the tear gland. So the top is thicker. So make that noticeably thicker. So you can go in there and adjust it. With drawing with charcoals and drawing realistically, you're constantly making adjustments. Okay? So I'm going to stop right there and just talk about what we did. I added a thick to thin line at the top of the eyelid. I added just a little bit of a charcoal thickness here on the lip edge. And then I took the thick to thin line at the bottom, and it's really thin here. It's almost a whisper. All right, now I want to go to the fold. I want to thicken it up here. Then it goes thin. Then it goes back to thick. And that's the contour with the charcoal pencil for the fold at the top edge of the eyelid. Thick to thin, back to thick. All right. Then I want to take my 6B pencil, changing directions now, and I want to go around the pupil. Very careful. Around the pupil, and I want to hit the outer edge of the iris with a thick line. Then it tapers to thin, thick, then it tapers to thin, and there you have it. All right, then I want to fill in this pupil, and like I said, I'm moving kind of fast here, so try to keep up. If you can't keep up, just do the best you can. I am going to make a recording of this, so you will hand this in on, I think I see you guys again on Wednesday. All right, so you fill that in. Now, I know I talked about putting vine charcoal around the highlight, but with that charcoal pencil, check this out. Just go ahead and lightly outline that highlight with the charcoal pencil. You could do that. Now, let's get into the vine charcoal right now, because we got to move it out. What we're going to do is we're going to put vine charcoal on the inside eye socket. So when we place that vine charcoal, we do it in hatch marks. And when we get to the middle, we kind of lighten up on it. So we gather the vine charcoal more in this region, so it's more together. It's a darker value in vine charcoal. So I lessen my stroke. All right, and we want to put vine charcoal outside eyelid, inside eye socket. And here again, hatch marks. Be very uniform and controlled. Just don't do any kind of, craziness. You got to keep it uniform. All right, and we stop it right there. Now, if you look at your reference has this information. Now I'm going to build this up a little bit more here on the edge. So it moves from where we have the overlapping of the vine charcoal, which creates more of a medium dark tone, and then it becomes lighter as we move towards the center. Okay, now at this point, you need to get your blending stump out. And I like to use tissue paper. So I'm going to take my tissue paper and fold it over. You can use tissue paper if you want. Fold it over. And we're going to start the blending process. Now I got to hasten on here, so I'm going to stop talking. Lessen the pressure in your hand so it melts away into the paper. Let it melt into the paper. And if your blending stuff gets too murky, you take it and rub it on the side. We talked about that before. If it gets too dirty, you can rub it on the side. You want to definitely move this light tone so that it melts into the white of the paper. So what I do is I refold my paper so I can get a clean edge to it. And then I can rub that so it just kind of rubs into and melts into the white of the paper. And that's a real important technique because I want to move from a medium to a medium light. So I have to really make this medium move. See how that works? All right, now we're going to put this value inside of the iris at the top. And we're going to spend some time inside this iris to work that lip, to work those ideas of the radial structure of the iris, what happens inside that iris. We got to talk about that. So remember, we have the crescent shape at the bottom of the iris to represent our reflective light. So don't forget to put that in there. All right, now we're going to take our blending stump and we work this area with a buffing motion, always controlling it. And like I said, if you get one side that's dirty, you can keep one side that's clean. The side that's clean, you can always rub it to the side. Now I want to make this fade out at the bottom because I don't want it to look like a cartoon. So I'm fading it out at the bottom. And if it doesn't fade out good enough for you, you can always go back with your kneaded eraser. And you do it with a light touch. So at some point, you just let the uh, blending stump barely touch the paper. So I'm lessening the pressure in my hand so that it fades. Now with the dark side, I'm going to literally go into that pupil, get some medium on it, and start working a little bit more detail inside that iris. And I want to take that medium from that and I want to go up here, blend this darker, and I can go back with my charcoal pencil as well, which I'm going to do in a minute. But right now I'm just taking the blending stump and rubbing the edges of the iris, softening it up because we don't want it to look like a cartoon. We want this all to be soft edges. So blend those edges. And all the while, I'm making sure that I keep that reflective. So if you accidentally lose the reflective edge, you can always go back in with your kneaded eraser and just lift a little bit of that vine charcoal up, just like that. All right, people. Now, go back with your 6B and let's add a little bit more darkness at the top because I really want this to pop this time. So just add a little bit of shade at the top. Go back with your blending stump on the dirty side. You got a clean side, you got a dirty side. And the clean side, you just rub it off. Always make sure you got a clean side. The dirty side, you don't have to rub. And you're going to make that a dark medium at the top of the iris. It could actually be dark. But if it's dark medium, that's okay. All right, now this is the technique that we're going to work on right now to get that iris going. Now inside of the iris, you have this idea of this like these radial lines that kind of flank out. Now you could do that with the blending stump if you want. You can, because you got enough medium on here, you could literally take the blending stump and draw little lines with the blending stump. And it's almost like little sun rays. Notice how I'm moving in a circular motion. And I bring these lines right into that very edge of the eye, just kind of like whisper them in. Now I'm doing it real light now. And you can just do that with the blending stump. Now, some people may say, well, Mr. Holliday, can I use a pencil for that? Yes, you can use a pencil. Now, you're going to go back with your white charcoal and ever so lightly, make sure your white charcoal has a nice point on it. Just add a couple lines. Don't put it everywhere. Just put a few of them. And that starts right at the pupil. So at the pupil, at the edge of the pupil, I'm adding a few of these little white lines. And I'll take a second and move the camera in so you can see what I just did. All right, I'm gonna pick it up now to show you. Do you see that? All right. So those are some of the details that you could get into with that iris. Now, I could spend a lot of time on this, but this is just the beginnings of how you could push detail. So if you look at your reference, you could really just go absolutely insane with the detail you could put inside the iris. I've even seen inside the iris reflections of people. I think there was a piece done by a famous artist, uh, forget his name right offhand, uh, MC Escher, that's his name, MC Escher. Check that. That actually drew a reflection of a person inside uh, the iris, because the iris is actually a mirror. Now, with your kneaded eraser, here's another idea. Take your kneaded eraser and pinch it so that you almost get like a knife effect. You can also cut highlights in like that too. So you don't always have to use a white charcoal. You can use your kneaded eraser too and cut in highlights. And that's a technique that we're going to get into later on. So you have these like little squiggles, little radio highlights that are inside that iris that makes it pop. Now, I want you to take the clean side of your blending stump, the clean side, and at this point, I want you to start putting that cast shadow that's on the white of the eye right in here. So you start adding that cast shadow, and that also works right in here on the lip edge. And you bring that lip edge down like this. So the lip edge is going to work based on the gray shadow that's in the white of the eye. So now I'm putting this cast shadow inside the white of the eye. Now, if you need to, you can add just a little bit of vine charcoal. Not much, but just a little bit on both sides. Just a little bit. Now, the lip edge on this side gets a little bit of tone. So let's put a little bit of vine charcoal on the lip edge on this side. So it's white to gray. That's what happens with that lip edge. And that's a very unique technique that I need to show you right now. So we're going to take the clean side of our blending stump and we show the lip edge moving like this. So it does a reverse. So you have cast shadow from the eyelid to the lip edge. Then we have the lip edge picking up in a medium light tone. And then I'm going to draw this edge right here and support the white lip edge with the gray of the white the white of the eye. So it's a lot of things going on here. And then I want to take my darker edge and I want to start blending the bottom of the eyelid here. And I'm going to get set up for some eyelashes real soon here. And I could actually draw a couple eyelashes with the blending stump. And now I'm just rendering. I'm making this look right. I'm shading, moving tone around. I'm actually using the darker edge now. I want to go back to my light edge, flip it up here. I want to get that cast shadow inside the white of the eye, move to the tear gland, separating the tear gland from the white of the eye. And like I said, we're running out of time and I'm moving really, really fast here. But as you can see, this is all coming together. We have a cast shadow on this side, lip edge, moving in here. Okay. And you could go back this time. I'm going to have you work with your pencil. Take your pencil, because your pencil can actually be a medium too, and work that pencil line right in here. Okay, now we're starting to run out of time. So let me move on. We're going to take our vine charcoal, place some hatch lines for hair on the eyebrow. Do that with your vine charcoal. We're going to add a little bit more darker value on our inside eye socket with the vine charcoal, very dark. Outside eyelid. We're going to get in there and blend that. So you move from a dark to a medium dark, dark to a medium dark. Rub the eyelash a little bit, always in the direction. Go back with your charcoal pencil. Add your eyelashes. I know I'm moving really fast. And like I said, you can work on this more after class to add more details. Change direction. The eyelashes begin to lessen as they move towards the tear gland. Add eyelashes at the bottom. As they move towards the middle, they crisscross a little bit. You'll see that even on your reference. Add some eyelashes with the charcoal pencil right in the eyebrow. And there you have it. All right, now, as I stated before, I could keep working on this, but this is good enough to get you going. So the emphasis today was the lip edge and putting some details inside of the iris to show how the iris muscles contract the pupil. All right, now this is day 2. You can keep working on it to push the details even more, smooth out the drawing. Obviously, some other things that I could do here. I could add a little bit of tone here. I could go back under the eye. We talked about how you can add the bag that's under the eye real quick. But we're running out of time. So let me hasten on, finish up the class, and this will be a YouTube video so that you can look at and look at it for more information. You will hand this in for day 2. All right. All right. Sorry, today was a rush day because it's just the way the schedule falls. So finishing this up, we just take a little bit of the kneaded eraser and add some nice edges and some details in the area under the eye. And now we're just taking our blending stump and going around the edges, softening up the edges to make sure we take away that cartoon look. We always want to do that. Go around the highlight, clean things up. And so it's a back and forth process of rendering. So I'm taking a little bit more time here to finesse the drawing, go around the edges, and just making it look better. Cleaning up the lip edge of the bottom of the eyelid, making sure that we got a nice gradient going from the medium gray to the white highlight. Okay. So now I'm going to go back with the kneaded eraser, clean up, and just getting a little fussy in here, cleaning up edges, and this is the part that makes the drawing a lot better. Just cleaning edges up, and I'm knifing the kneaded eraser, getting there really tight, cleaning up once again the areas that need to be cleaned up. All right. Just still messing around with a couple things. Got the white charcoal pencil going around the edges, working back into the muscles that are in the iris, in the reflective area, in the iris, literally just putting in hatching and making that area pop a little bit more with detail, cleaning up the edges with the white charcoal, the lip edge on the bottom eyelid. And it's just a back and forth process. I can't explain that enough. The blending stump and just working it and tweaking it. And yeah, this is really, really important to the process. Going back into the tear gland, smoothing that out. I'm going to take my tissue paper now, fold it over. And with the tissue paper, it seems to work a little differently than the blending stump. So I encourage tissue paper too. And so the tissue paper softens up the medium tones so I could get medium light tones. And I'm just rubbing it in this area under the eye, a little bit above the eye. And I work around to the other edge of the eye. I know my hand is blocking it, but I'm fading that line, that edge, to take away that cartoon look. And there you have it. So keep working on the eye so you can get to this point.